Thank you, Mr President. I seek leave to make a brief explanation before addressing a question on the topic of wage theft to the Treasurer in his role as Minister for Industrial Relations.
Is leave granted? The leave is granted.
Thank you, Mr President. Indeed, the Treasurer is also the Minister for Industrial Relations with responsibility for SafeWork SA. Last year, SafeWork SA cut $150,000 per year of funding from the Young Workers Legal Service. That service used to provide free legal support to young workers to recover stolen wages and had acted successfully many times to help international students deal with wage theft. Indeed, I'm sure all members of this council were shocked to see the footage of the young woman working in Fun Tea at the Adelaide Central Market's Chinatown area yesterday on Facebook footage being hit and kicked by her former employer after she asked for her trial wages to be paid of some $10 an hour, which in itself would be wage theft, and indeed many, many hours worked for no money at all. She accused him of wage theft and stood up for her rights as a worker, as an individual, and was assaulted for that privilege. What has re-emerged following this incident, as well as the broader conversation in our community, is the exploitation of international students in Adelaide. Indeed, with stories of wage theft rampant and common intimidation tactics used being the threat of deportation, as was made in that video, young workers are in incredibly vulnerable situations and they've been routinely exploited. The COVID pandemic has simply made this worse. My questions to the Treasurer are: will you reinvest that $150,000 per year in the Young Workers Legal Service to do their most valuable and much-needed work? And what are you doing to protect international students working in South Australia to address wage theft and exploitation?
The Treasurer has the call.
Mr President, I thank the honourable member for a question. SafeWork SA has advised me today that they first became aware of the incident at 2:21 p.m. yesterday, or not the incident, they first logged a query about it, I should say, rather than first became aware of the incident. It was at 2:21 when I think the Honourable Ms Frank's office rang SafeWork SA in relation to the issue, Mr President, and SafeWork SA advises me that they advised the Honourable Ms Frank's staff member, I assume, Mr President, that issues of underpayment of wages were correctly addressed to, or should be correctly addressed to, the Office of the Fair Work Ombudsman. That is the body that has power and control over underpayment of wages is the Fair Work Ombudsman. And, Mr President, I'm advised, SafeWork SA advises me that at 2:39 p.m. they received the next telephone call from, again, the Honourable Ms Frank's office, where the information in relation to an assault of an employee was raised, and again SafeWork SA advises me that they correctly, in their view, advised that where criminal assault was involved, SAPOL were the appropriate authority to investigate criminal assaults. And I'm pleased to see that SAPOL have taken action, and that's now publicised in relation to potentially charges being laid or potentially action being taken by South Australian Police. I'm further advised by SafeWork SA that in relation to matters within their jurisdiction, which are work health and safety laws in South Australia, they have now logged, I think off their own judgment, the incident for an investigation by one of their officers, and one of their officers, or SafeWork SA, will be making inquiries in relation to those aspects that relate to the control and jurisdiction of SafeWork SA, repeating that the issue of underpayment of wages is an issue in the federal jurisdiction for the Fair Work Ombudsman. Issues of criminal assaults or allegations of criminal assaults are issues with South Australian Police, and South Australian Police are appropriately taking action, as I understand it, in relation to that. The only other point that I would make, Mr President, and I guess I'm not in a position to have direct knowledge of this other than to hear the question from the honourable member and also absorbed the advice I've received from SafeWork SA and my office. I've also been advised that the business has actually issued a statement today indicating that the person alleged to have committed the assault was not related to the business at all, but was a customer and was not either an employer or former employer. I don't know whether that's correct or not. All I can say is that's a claim that's been made by the business today, as I understand it. Time will tell in relation to the connection or not that the alleged assailant had with that particular business. So, Mr President, in concluding, what I can say is I'm sure all members would join both the Honourable Ms Franks and myself being appalled at the vision of the incident that was well publicised on television last evening. Whatever the circumstances are, Mr President, there is no excuse or explanation or defence for that sort of action and behaviour, and appropriately it would appear that South Australian Police are taking action in relation to that. Mr President, in relation to the issue, as I said, of underpayment of wages and the grant from SafeWork SA, Mr President, that is a jurisdictional issue for the Fair Work Ombudsman, the federal government, Mr President. In all the discussions I have with employee associations, Mr President, they make it quite clear to me that this is an important part of their ongoing work. They see it as part of their reason for being. And, Mr President, I'm sure it won't surprise the Honourable Ms Franks to know that a number of those unions have significant funding capacity available to them. It's used in many creative ways, as we see in relation to protest actions against the federal and or state governments, Mr President. And a number of those employee association representatives make it quite clear to me they see this as an important part of their ongoing role and their reason for being, and it's an important part of their ongoing work in terms of representing employees who might raise issues with them.
Franks, a supplementary.
Thank you, Mr President. What measures have SafeWork SA undertaken to ensure the safety of the other workers in this workplace?
The Treasurer has the call.
Mr President, as I said, SafeWork SA has now logged it as an investigation and an officer is investigating.
Supplementary, the Honourable Ms Franks.
Will SafeWork SA wait until another young worker is assaulted before they take any action for the systemic, unsafe environment that's been provided in this workplace?
The Treasurer.
Mr President, obviously the honourable member has made her own judgment in relation to the circumstances in the workplace. I'm not directly aware of that. I'm prepared to allow an independent regulatory authority to investigate and to decide what action, if any, they should take as an independent regulator.
The Honourable Ms Franks.
Is the Minister aware that I cannot make a complaint to the Fair Work Ombudsman on this issue because it's not treated as a systemic one? It needed the individuals involved to make such a complaint. And does he have concerns that that means systemic issues and those issues of vulnerable workers will not be taken up by the Fair Work Ombudsman?
The Treasurer has the call.
Mr President, I'm aware that on very many occasions workers, Mr President, who claim to be unpaid have no problems at all raising their issues with the Fair Work Ombudsman. I'm also aware that the Fair Work Ombudsman and or their staff, Mr President, in South Australia, are very, very happy to receive those sorts of complaints and to investigate. I'm also aware the Fair Work Ombudsman has taken significant action nationally in relation to successful actions against employers who underpay their employees.